Coming up today on Channel 97 News.
We look back at a high school tradition that is not as popular as it once was.
We visit with an OHS athlete who has overcome an obstacle.
And we help one of our students find her Valentine.
All that and more on Channel 97 News.
And it starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Eyes on the Tigers Channel 97 News. I'm Ava Hounsome.
And I'm Kaylee Calton. Oakville hosted a major robotics tournament recently.
And the hometown teens did pretty well. Here's the story.
Oakville's robotics team has been working hard this past school year. They have been building, constructing, and programming robots to battle with other teams from all across Missouri. 2 Oakville teams were formed to compete against 34 others. The entire competition was hosted here at Oakville for the first time ever.
All these teams are coming together, and even though we're competing against each other and we're trying to win and move on to something even bigger than just this qualifier, the teams still come around and compliment us, wish us luck, and help us when we need some assistance.
Teamwork is so essential because it's what really gets people immersed into this club and into these events. It's a very big thing for people to feel like they are contributing something.
I actually really like coming to competitions. It's probably something that helps me get up in the morning.
To see the hard work that you put into the robot actually work, show itself and show all the other people out there that are watching. A lot of people come and watch these events, and it's really cool to see when everything you've been putting in months of hard work ends up, coming to fruition.
And the Alliance partner, 96-12.
Congratulations to Oakville's Team 9612 for getting second place in the Think Award and third place in the Design Award. With Liam Schoenberger and Layla Suskick behind the camera, I'm Kaylin Hickman with Channel 97 News.
Hey Kaylee, have you ever been to a country where no one speaks your language?
I've been to a lot of countries, but I've never experienced that.
Well, several of our students experience that every day. Let's check out the story.
สวัสดีค่ะฉันชื่อเด็กหญิงนมิตาพระสลักในขณะนี้เรียนอยู่ที่โอ๊ควิลล์แล้วก็กำลังจะโดนถามคำถามค่ะ
Namita is from Thailand, and she is one of the many students at Oakville who's part of the English Language Learning Program, also known as ELL.
My students are working with me to develop English, but not just speaking. We also work on listening, and in the high school level, especially writing and reading. Right now, there are probably 39 receiving services.
I cannot speak English at all my first year here. I can't talk, I can't order food.
The ELL program has made a big difference.
All of my ELL teachers are very, very supportive. They help me with all of my grammar problems, my essay.
I admire my students for going through a lot of change. I know how it feels to live in another country and struggle and to be exhausted from speaking, so I have my heart in this.
These students have made a lot of progress since they moved here, and they have bright futures ahead of them.
Get a good job here and provide things back for my family in Nigeria.
The career that I want to be is the doctor. So obviously I need a lot of English skills, so ELL will help me with that.
With Riley Heather and Selma Bokovich behind the camera, I'm Olivia Lutker for Channel 97 News.
Have you ever met a professional athlete?
Yeah, I've met a few soccer players. But did you hear that the OHS baseball team got to meet a former Cardinals player?
I sure did. Davin and Avery have more details.
On January 14th, Jason Simontachi, a former St. Louis Cardinal pitcher and coach, came to Oakville for a little sit-down with the baseball program.
I plan on just touching base on some of the aspects of the game, some things to expect, maybe what they're doing now, but also the realization that chances of them making it to the big leagues are pretty small. So you may want to focus on education a little bit better.
We asked one Oakville student what his takeaway was.
I learned more of respecting the game for what it's worth, knowing who your players are, what you're representing, like Oakville, and just being an overall better, mindful, and respectful player.
He has a very extensive resume. He left America and ended up in Italy, playing for them in the 2000 Olympic baseball tournament. He then began playing for the Cardinals in 2002.
I did have a couple friends that lived here. I actually stayed with one of them when I got called up because I didn't know how long I was going to be. But I was from California, so the money went a little bit farther here.
After playing his last game in July of 2007, he retired with his family and settled down in St. Louis.
I was off for 2 years. I went and then I started playing or coaching for St. Louis Cardinals in minor leagues. So I was there for low A ball team in Peoria, Illinois for 2 years. Then I was in Springfield Cardinals for 3 years in Double A. I coached it's called the Arizona Fall League, a prospect league, and then went over and coached in Venezuela. Then took a job for assistant pitching coach with the Royals for the last 2 years, and then this year I'm the head pitching coach, our pitching coordinator.
He has a special connection to Oakville. His oldest son, Bradley, graduated in 2018, and his middle son, Nathan, is a senior wrestler.
Nathan, good luck. I hope you do well, and stay disciplined.
With Davin Smith behind the camera, I'm Avery Neal for Channel 97 News.
Hey Ava, where'd you get that jacket?
It's a letter jacket.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Why don't we have them anymore?
I'm not sure, but I think Mackenzie Deutschman has the answer.
This is a Letterman jacket. Back in the day, almost every student had one.
Your Letterman jacket is something that varsity athletes would purchase, and then when you are on varsity, then you get your varsity letter. And then every year that you're on varsity, you would get something called a bar. So you'd get a stripe. You could either put it on your arm, or some people put them on the pocket. It just depends on how big your jacket was, kind of the size you are. And then, so kids that went to state, qualified for state, won a state championship, those kinds of things, then you'd get a different patch or a medal that then you could hang and on your jackets.
I went to high school between the years of 1991 and 1995, and all the kids had one at that point. Basically, it has my graduation number on the side, and then I earned various patches. I was really big into choir, and so I earned various patches through choir. I also was in National Honor Society, and we just, we collected pins for each year we were in those organizations, and we earned medals for performances and stuff like that.
The patches are for team accomplishments. I think there's a conference championship patch, there's a few district championship patches, and probably the one I'm most proud of is the state championship patch. Got to play in 1989, my junior year, for the state championship, so we got a big state of Missouri patch with our record and, finishing runner-up in the state, so it was kind of a big deal.
As you look around today, the jackets aren't as popular, and that leaves us wondering, where did they go?
They're still available and they're out there. They're just not popular here. I think kids would rather spend their money on the ring, if you're going to get a class ring. I've heard a lot of parents, when it's ring time, say, well, pick, what do you want to buy? So I think just from an economical state, people are like, you're really going to wear this thing? Am I really going to spend this much money on you? So I think parents have kind of driven that conversation. So you can buy those to your nephew, you can buy them online. You used to be able to buy it at Johnny Mac's before they went out of business. So you can get them at a lot of different places.
With Mackenzie Deutschman behind the camera, I'm Bella Wilhite with Channel 97 News.
One OHS athlete has faced a major challenge this season,
But he has come back strong. Ava and I have the details. Senior basketball player James Whitman recently faced a setback when he was diagnosed with mono.
I was out for 4 weeks. I had to wait 21 days before I could run, and then 28 before I was fully cleared to play again.
While he was out, the team missed his impact on the court.
Well, I tell you what, James Whitman, a senior 4-year player in our program, it was really tough when he was gone. He had mononucleosis, and for us, James is a leader. He's a natural scorer, a guy on the floor that gets other guys to be more confident in what they can do.
Playing with James is very hard because he's one of the main scorers on our team. We missed him for those couple games we didn't have him.
Despite missing 4 weeks of the season, James has come back strong.
For him to come back after a month being out and play at the level he's already starting to play at has been phenomenal. We love having him back.
Most of the time when people come back from that, they're not very healthy, and he came back rather strong.
I didn't know how well I was going to be able to play, especially defensively. I didn't know if I was going to be able to guard people since I was really fatigued. I've been able to pull through and, with the help of my teammates, be successful.
However, James isn't the only leader. He and senior Joe Beardsley are often in contention for top scorer.
We're competitors. We both like to win. It doesn't matter who scores more to me, just team effort for the win.
I always want to beat Joe at everything. He wants to beat me at everything, but as long as we're competing and getting better, I don't really care who scores. It's more about winning than anything.
With Ava Hounson behind the camera, I'm Kaylee Calton for Channel 97 News.
We wish the best of luck to James and the basketball team for the rest of their season.
Staying on the topic of sports, we got the chance to talk with the former OHS athlete who has overcome tremendous obstacles.
Let's meet Jim Tietjens.
The 1976 boys soccer team won the first state championship in Oakville history. Jim Tietjens was a special player.
The 76 season was really sort of a dream from the very beginning. So we really had a lot of confidence going into that season. And as each game passed, we grew more and more confident because we began to believe in ourselves that we can beat all the teams.
Jim recorded 17 shutouts and allowed only 11 goals during his season. He was a critical player in the 1-0 win over Rosary in the state final.
We knew it was going to be tough because probably man for man, they were a little bit stronger than us, but you know, that's where the team and the fight comes together, and you know, we were second to none as it related to that.
Jim spent most of his senior year playing at the under-19 U.S. program. After playing 1 year at St. Louis University, he went on to his professional career. Then, in his early 30s, he had a life-changing experience.
My family had been really burdened with a genetic heart defect, starting with my father. My sister Karen, who was in the Navy, she became ill, and in 1989 she passed away from the same exact diagnosis, which they refer to as idiopathic cardiomyopathy.
At age 32, Jim realized that his heart was failing and needed a heart transplant.
I was 30 years old when I started feeling the slowdown, so I was very prepared for it. Went to the doctor, they did tests and showed that my heart was beginning to expand. It's like a muscle, so the muscle gets swollen. It doesn't operate efficiently.
Nearly 30 years later, Jim had to get another heart transplant.
I received a very, very special heart from a very young man. He was 23 years old. His name was Colton Ellis, and he was a combat medic in the National Guard. And he took his own life from PTSD, unfortunately. And the combat medic's motto in the National Guard is, "We serve so others can live."
Jim works out every day and still sees his teammates from the 76 team. In fact, the group holds an annual reunion where they raise $1,976. In 6 years, they have raised over $12,000.
You know, we were a team back then in 1976. Where we are now, so far beyond a team. You know, I mean, we are true brothers. We love each other so much. We're not afraid to say it, and any one of us would be there in a heartbeat to take care of each other. And
although life has brought Jim many hardships, it has also brought him a new perspective on life.
So sort of my philosophy on these challenges that everyone has difficult lives. So, you know, you play with the cards you're dealt with, and in my mind, it's like, you can't beat me. You know, just try it, you can't do it.
With Chase Skaggs, I'm Andrew Rudd for Channel 97 News.
Wow, I love that story.
Speaking of love, do you have a Valentine?
Yeah, not everyone does though.
That's right. Let's watch one of our students get a little help from her friends.
Hey Oakville, 2 students are helping find their best friend a Valentine. Let's meet Julia, Allison, and Lexi.
I like to play sports and hang out with my friends. Funny, athletic, smart. Going to college and finding a good job to do.
Because she deserves a good man, and she deserves to be treated like a queen. Okay, what do you guys see yourselves doing in the future?
In the future, I see myself going to college and majoring in education and becoming a math teacher.
Wow, smart. Mm-hmm.
So if the SoundCloud career doesn't work out, I would probably become a zoo manager.
Love that.
In the future, I plan to go to Missouri State and get an undergrad degree in business marketing and then transfer out to get a degree in law.
Wow, he's got it all planned out.
Jordan, we have to let you go this round. I'm very sorry.
It's cool. SoundCloud's gonna work out, so don't worry about it.
Okay, boys, what are you guys most passionate about?
Easy. I am most passionate about the Allison Lynn Martin.
Wow.
Really looking forward to my future and really hoping that things can work out with Allison. But if not, then I'm just gonna have to move on.
We picked this guy because we feel that he will be able to maintain the longest relationship with Allison. And our winner is Hunter.
What? Are you kidding me?
And let's be real here. Math teacher, come on. I'm going to be a lawyer. 6 figures a year, and he can't even afford my car payments monthly.
We think we made the right choice.
We hope you're really happy.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show.
We hope you join us for Around OHS on February 20th.
If you'd like to see more of our content and stay up to date on what's happening at Oakville, make sure to visit myohsonline.com. We post new stories all the time.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Ava Hounsom.
And I'm Kaylee Kelton. And remember, Oakville, keep your eyes on the Tigers.